guys, welcome to Kitchen Table Talk. What's up, Mark?
Not a whole lot, Damien. What's up, buddy?
Not too much, not too much. I see you're doing a little traveling as you're in an unusual kitchen today. You want to tell everybody about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm out here in New York City at my fiance's brother's place here in Long Island City. Actually, it's right outside of New York City. Very nice, amazing over here. And I got a little table here, and we're just hanging out, getting ready to head out. So I don't have my shirt, obviously. I'm pulling a Damien. But I'm on the phone here, and we're talking, and we're doing table talk.
Cool. Well, we got two great questions. We have one that's pretty easy to answer, pretty fast one. Question comes from Joanne Smith from beautiful Bermuda. So the Virtual Deal Factory is alive and well in the Caribbean. And she said, can you please have a daily video directory so we know what episode number and speaker and topics of the video there are? And so great question and request, Joanne. And actually, we've been having Bobby and our VDF team. She's been building a Webisode directory. And now that you actually gave us that extra nudge, I will make sure that it gets up. In fact, you might even see it by later today so that you guys can check it out, Mark. Because, I mean, one of the many things that are so unique about the Virtual Deal Factory, I mean, we put a ton. I mean, we're about to, I don't know if you know this, and you and I have been running around so much, we're about to celebrate our 100th episode, Webisode next week.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Did you realize that?
I didn't know that. No, not at all.
What are you going to buy me?
I was going to ask you, what are you going to buy me?
Okay, we could do a little gift exchange. But yeah, definitely check them out. I mean, we've done a ton of stuff. I know we get a little silly and have some fun sometimes, which is okay. But, you know, we cover everything from making money inside a Virtual Deal Factory to deals, negotiating, sales, entrepreneurial mindset, wealth building, internet business tools, everything you could think of. So definitely, if you have not seen all 95 webisodes as of right now, you need to go back, cancel your weekend plans, and watch them immediately.
Uh-oh. Well, that's exciting. That's really exciting.
All
so,
right.
Damien, what's the other question? You know, I know I'm sitting here getting excited about the next question because I saw it, and I do a lot of it, so I'm excited to hear what this is.
All right. So the next question comes from a great VDF friend, Nikki Faust from Newcastle, Colorado, and she says, I was wondering what your take is on outsourcing. I've heard many different views on using OPT for maximum efficiency, and I agree. But in your opinion, is there anything that as a beginner we should for sure, definitely outsource or not outsource? Can I outsource my workouts? Haha, Nikki.
Damien, just to be very, very clear, OPT, other people's time?
Okay.
Is that what it means?
I know OPP from back in the day. I don't know if you listen to house music. I didn't, but I heard it on the radio. Other people's property. I don't think.
What does OPT mean then?
Optional practical training is what Google says. I don't know. Do I look like a Google? We outsource all the time, but we don't use fancy terminology. I
just think OPT is like OPM, other people's money, other people's time.
It says Ocean Power Technologies in Google. Optimum Population Trust.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's keep it simple and call it other people's time. Because you're outsourcing.
Yeah, other people's time. Okay, I agree with that. And irrespective of knowing the acronym, I know we can answer this question. So, what's your? You know, we always end up like turning 10-minute shows into like 30 minutes. So you have 3 minutes, Mark. Somebody's about to go outsource part of their business, and you have 3 minutes before they start pulling the trigger and spending valuable dollars and time. What is your wisdom to them? And then I'll do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, I outsource everything in my business from closings to sometimes writing. I do a lot of writing, but like the editing of the writing to the covers to the marketing. I don't outsource the creation of the marketing. I control the marketing process, but we outsource the pieces of implementation. So I would tell people, get the first things off your plate that you hate the most. And that could be, there's hundreds of thousands of people watching this. So that could mean maybe you're terrible at the day-to-days of marketing. Maybe you're terrible at paperwork, which I am. So we outsource all those pieces. Maybe you have a lot of transactions going on, so you need an accountant that you can hand off so they can do the number pushing and the bean counters. That's the first thing. And then as you gradually, if you're already outsourcing those pieces, start outsourcing pieces that you can get off your plate that you can outsource for $10, $15 an hour. So then what that does, that your value for who you are goes up. But there's a lot of very, very, very big points here. When you're outsourcing, it's very easy to go bankrupt, meaning mental bankrupt as well as personal finance bankrupt if you don't do it correctly. So what we do is we always tell people, because Damien, a lot of people don't understand outsourcing, therefore they'll lose money a couple times. So what we always tell people is go to guru.com and go to elance.com. It's free to set up an account there, and then just tell people what you're looking for. Hey, I'm looking for someone to market for me. I'm a real estate investor, etc. Tell them what your needs and wants are, and you'll have people bid against each other to come to you. Now, that's okay, but yet, Damien, what we've seen, because we help a lot of people outsource their businesses, they're afraid to pay them money. They're afraid, what if I get ripped off? They're afraid of all these questions that are very valid. So what we tell them is set a downside thing, meaning if your project takes 10 hours to do, you can know within 3 to 4 or 5 hours if they're being productive. Therefore, you set 5-hour max payment to them at $10 per hour, or whatever their hourly fee is. Therefore, your downside risk is only $50. And if it's super outlined, hardcore, you don't pay until the project's completed to your satisfaction. So, there's a lot of wishy-washies. And to be honest, Damien, I don't think a lot of people should be outsourcing yet if they're brand new. I think you should understand the pieces of your business. But outsourcing is great. I would have more hair if I outsourced earlier in my business.
Right.
Because I used to try to do everything myself. But at the end of the day, you really want to maximize your time, limit your downside, and focus on what you're great at, and keep building a business.
Good answer. So here's my 3-minute take.
Okay.
You were saying don't outsource right now, and I agree with that with a caveat. Mark, I started outsourcing as soon as I had profit in my company, and you and I both build companies the same way. We build them from scratch. We don't raise, $2 million of startup capital. We build them on shoestring budgets. We build them from scratch. And as soon as I had a positive profit, instead of taking that money out for myself, because I also had a different job and a different position, I immediately said, what part of my business do I want to automate? What part of my business do I want to outsource? And what things do I want to take off my plate? And that was my mindset, because I wanted to build a business that way. I didn't want to build a business where it was dependent upon me holding up every single part of the business. And then someday I go, okay, it's running. Now I try to get out and the whole thing collapses on me. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing I did. And like you said, to kind of define and hammer home the point, what do you outsource? Outsource anything. You want to think about things you hate, things that are not strengths. And a strength is defined by not only something that you have a natural ability that with average effort you achieve much better than average results at, but something that you generally enjoy, that's something that gives you more energy, that vitalizes you, that you want to do more. There's certain things, Mark, like administrative stuff. As much as I'm good at it, I'm an accounting major, dude, it sucks the life out of me. I have to go curl in a ball and sleep for 2 days after I do bookkeeping, because I'm just exhausted. It's not a strength. It's not an enjoyment for me. So those are the things I would outsource. How I would outsource a couple things. We typically don't pay until projects are complete. 9 out of 10 times vendors agree to that or agree to those terms when I ask for them. I would make sure always, here's a huge one. I'm going to save you money and headaches. Never pay based on hourly. Pay based on project, because two people could have different perceptions of projects, and they go, you said 5 hours. Well, I'm 7 hours in. It's going to take me 2 more hours. And you go, okay, it's 9 hours. Next thing you know, you overpaid 80% on your project. So make sure you just say, hey, I need a header graphic and this flash banner, $100. That's it. I'm done. Don't care about if it takes you 30 minutes or 30 hours. That's how much I'm paying. So, Nikki, I would definitely pay based on projects. And I think my last piece of real wisdom, and Mark, this stuff gets me excited, because this is what we look at in our business. I mean, this is part of, the idea behind the Virtual Deal Factory, automating, being virtual, outsourcing, having other people come together. And it kind of makes me want to actually we should do Outsource Week. Make a note about that. We should do Outsource Week one of those weeks and just train on outsourcing the whole week. But the last thing I want to tell you is this: expectations. Have the right expectations. As much as I've been doing this, Mark, I've been outsourcing like you for years now. I have great stories. I have horror stories. I have people that I've spent 2 hours setting them up on a project. They're like, great, we're going to go. And then they just completely disappear. I don't pay them, but they never do any work. They leave me hanging for 5 days, and they just vanish. People are flaky. People are flaky when you meet them face to face, but when you don't even meet them, going with the expectation, you know what? This guy might not pan out. That's why, you and I both talk about it. If we have a mission critical project, we'll actually have two people do it at the same time with the expectation that one of them might not meet our guidelines or our standards, but at least we know the project's done. So have the right expectations. Understand that, outsourcing is great, but it's not like a total panacea. It's not going to be absolutely perfect every time. Hey, I just put a project up and never worried about it again. You do have to manage your outsources, but as long as you're savvy about it, as long as you minimize your downside, not like, hey, I got to post a project, and if it's not finished in 12 hours, I'm going to lose this closing. Yeah, that's not how you want to outsource a project. But as long as you minimize your downsides, you'll be in good shape. And then after a while, you'll be able to build relationships with the people you outsource to, and build them. And that's how a lot of our team members, some of them we found from outsourcing that now work for us on a regular basis. So.
Exactly. Damien, you're starting to act like me running over, but we have to make a couple caveats here because this is very important. Number one, Damien, we always got to remember most people don't understand business. And when I got to be very clear here. What I mean by that is Damien and I probably outsource different things than you do or will at the beginning. Because if you don't have a buyer, seller, and investor websites or something like that, Damien, right? That's a piece of the business that needs to be outsourced. You can have systems that you outsource to, not just individuals, right? I mean, that's very safe to say, correct?
Sure.
So if you're doing old school marketing, driving them from, an ad in the newspaper to your phone and then answering and then taking down a form and then contacting them on an individual basis, that's a very silly approach, number one, in this day and age. But, so look at what you're doing and say, what can I systematize and automate? And then once you establish that, I can tell you right now, it's much easier to get a system than to hire a person.
Oh, that's a huge gold nugget. That's great. That's from that's the same thing that what's his face, Timothy Ferriss drives home in the 4-Hour Workweek. Like you never outsource a process that can be automated. That's just craziness.
Exactly.
That's huge, Mark. You're so smart, dude.
And I always
you're a smart guy,
saying,
man.
Well, yeah, sometimes, right? I have a saying, and I got a bat that says this. It says, systems rule, people suck. And that's meant to say in a very nice way. Because people, you're dealing with so many different types of personalities, emotions. People have, bad things happen to them. Either, maybe they go through a divorce, and then that affects your business. So a system is a system. If it works, it works. That's just the way it is. So don't ever outsource stuff that you can systematize. Take my advice from this. I've wasted so much money thinking I'm saving money because I didn't set something up and then I just hire someone to do it. But now there's so many amazing things online. You can start getting systems for almost everything. Absolutely. So focus on doing that. That's my side note real quick.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, you and I both are proprietors of systems like that. Obviously, this isn't a pitch show, but we do that stuff all the time. So you could certainly ask us, and we'll show you just about everything you need to automate your businesses. So we got to stick to schedule. I know you need to run. You have meetings. I actually need to go do some ends and odds myself. So thanks for joining us in Kitchen Table Talk. Joanne Smith, Nikki Faust, thanks for sending in the questions. Make sure to send your questions into Bobby. We'll answer them live. We'll cover them. Again, we do this for you. It sounds like Starbuck the dog is starting to get fed, so she's probably going to have to go walk soon. And, dude, have some safe travels, Mark, and we'll see you all next time.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. Keep the questions coming in. We're here to help you. Bye-bye.